Alright guys, we are on to the next episode of Dragon Ball Super. This is episode 106. This episode is called Find Him, Deathmatch with an Invisible Attacker. So this is another one of those, well, okay, it's kind of like character-driven around Tien a little bit. And then I guess Piccolo and Gohan's master and student relationship. Now, I would say this is another one of those kind of slow-paced episodes that not a lot of people probably enjoyed that much because, like, there's, we're not getting the Super Saiyan transformations and the sky-bending battles here, but it's more like a tactical, slow approach. Again, I've said it a couple times recently, but I do feel as though the Tournament of Power, like, these type of episodes would be good, but there needed to already have been, like, a big marquee fight at the start to kind of set the tone. Maybe have a big gun eliminated early with a really impressive fight, and then we could have went on from there. But at this point, we're, closing in on 10 episodes of the Tournament of Power, and it just feels as though we haven't, like, really even seen anything yet. Like, yeah, Frost took out Krillin, and, Master Roshi had a cool episode, and, Super Saiyan God and Hit was pretty lit, but, like, there was no result to that fight. Like, Dispo didn't get beat, Goku didn't get beat, Hit didn't get beat. So, okay, here's the thing. Depending on how the Tournament of Power finishes, and in particular how the 1 hour special, which I believe is episode 109 and 110, so we have what, 1, 2, 3 episodes to go before we get there, I believe, or no, well, 2. We have 2 episodes after today's episode before we get to that 1 hour special, where obviously stuff is going to start popping off. But I do feel like this is one of those things where a strong conclusion to the Tournament of Power or a really explosive second half could, in fact, save the first half of the tournament. Like, these episodes, I think, will, like, age better, and you can watch them and just feel better about what's going on if the ending to this is so fire. Now, I have found that despite my problems with the end of the Goku Black arc, for me, it doesn't really diminish the earlier episodes where Goku Black is tearing shit up, despite the fact that the ending of that arc I felt was incredibly weak. So, we'll see how the Tournament of Power goes. This episode was okay. There is something I really didn't like. We'll get to once we get there, but let's get going. So, unfortunately, there's not really a ton to talk about in the first half of the episode here. Like, I could basically breeze through just a bunch of bullet points of everything that happens right up until basically the commercial break. So Goku, the episode really starts off with Goku kind of sitting, Master Roshi down and telling him, rest. And then Roshi's like, yeah, Goku, you go fight. Now, one thing I do want to point out that I really have an issue with is specifically, I watch every episode on Crunchyroll, and the Crunchyroll subs, like, no matter what Goku or anyone calls Master Roshi, they translate it as Master Roshi. Like, when they call him Kami-Senin, Turtle Hermit, they don't need to, put the subs as Master Roshi. Or when Goku calls him Ji-chan, like, he's calling him, like, Gramps. Like, they don't need to translate every single thing as Master Roshi. There's different meanings to these words. That's why I like Crunchyroll, but I really don't fuck with their subtitles at all. I'm just not a fan, really. And even changing, like, a lot of the attack names to, like, the Funimation dub title, I'm just not a fan of that either, because, like, the dub fans will get their version of the show, right? Funimation will dub it. It'll be great. Like, the dub fans are going to love the dub version they're going to get, because Chris Sabat and the team, they are gangbusters. But, like, Crunchyroll kind of denies us of the version I'm looking for, where, the subs are actually kind of accurate. So, I don't know. A little pet peeve of mine, but at this point, it's like, what am I going to do? Like, I'll stop bitching and we'll move on. How about that? So Gohan and Piccolo are fighting against Dr. Rhoda, who is basically the one of the last members of Universe 6 that we have not really gotten a good glimpse of, along, of course, with the Namekians, who we've seen a couple times on the God Pad, but they have not really been introduced in the show yet, which is really interesting. Like, so obviously the fact that these Namekians, right, are clearly probably going to show up maybe either in the next episode or like after Goku and Jiren have already started fighting, tells me that there's something big planned for these Universe 6 Namekians. But, so Gohan and Piccolo are fighting Dr. Rhoda, right? And there's this little gimmick they do with Dr. Rhoda where he's like, "Oh, I'm a doctor. Let me show you my true ability. The reason why they call me Dr. Rhoda, my name, Dr. Rhoda." And then, like, he gets hit by a laser blast and he's not able to finish. Now, Piccolo and Gohan, they instantly take cover, and Piccolo does mention that the blast is focused in a way that's similar to his Makaken Sapo Kapo Kapo, you know, the special beam cannon. Now, after this, we get like a long, like, you know, 5, 6, 7 minute sequence where Gohan and Piccolo are kind of trying to approach this. We see like this red fighter, like this big red, like, you know, Play-Doh doughboy looking guy who appears to be shooting lasers off of these like red like orbs that are kind of floating around the sky. It almost kind of gave me like a little bit of a vibe of Gaara from Naruto, how he creates that sand eye that's able to kind of like see. It almost felt kind of similar to that a little bit. And like at one point Piccolo, of course, like, you know, between Gohan and Piccolo, one of them gets hit and their arm flies off. It's like, can you guess? No, it wasn't Gohan, it was Piccolo. Piccolo loses an arm, and of course he grows it back. And, you know, he's able to grow it back, and all that's fine. But, like, Gohan does mention, like, you know, your stamina, which will be a big factor, obviously, in this long, drawn-out tournament, especially because at the end of the episode, there's still 32 minutes left in the tournament itself. So Piccolo needs to conserve stamina, and this sniper is able to twice blow Piccolo's arms off when Piccolo basically tries to protect Gohan. Now, again, we get a couple of scenes where, you know, Piccolo basically decides, like, okay, let's try and create a smoke screen so we can approach our enemy. And, like, him and Gohan, they shoot a bunch of ki blasts and, like, you know, create, like, it makes explosions and stuff, and there's, like, a smoke screen that they can kind of get through before Piccolo deduces that their enemy is actually using body heat, and he does actually take an attack from that. After this, Tien, Vegeta, and Goku actually kind of congregate on the area, and they see that it's not this big guy that's shooting the lasers, but someone is shooting the lasers, and it's actually deflecting off of this guy himself, and, you know, shooting out that way and going towards Gohan and Piccolo. So Tien tells them, you know, I'll go help Piccolo and Gohan, you guys take care of them. And of course, Vegeta, like, he just rushes straight off without talking with them at all, like, oh, I'll go beat his ass. And, you know, they split up from there. Now, Goku and Vegeta run up, and they each do their signature blast. You know, this was that moment I was excited about in the preview of last week's episode, where Vegeta runs up, shoots the Gallic Gun, Goku comes up and shoots the Kamehameha, and it turns out that this enemy, he can kind of like absorb a blast and then reflect it right back out. So what happens is that sniper was shooting blasts at this guy. He was like absorbing it and then reflecting it towards Piccolo and Gohan. So, you know, when Goku and Vegeta shoot their blasts at him, he's able to absorb it and then reflect it back at them. So at this point, they're kind of, you know, in a stalemate because they can't shoot blasts to take this guy down. Meanwhile, the sniper is still shooting blasts into him and kind of shooting the beams down at Goku and Vegeta. Kind of a cool little idea here. I do like this, you know, like a sniper battle. It's almost like, we're in like Metal Gear Solid, right? Like, we gotta have the, you know, we'll have the big battle. Goku and Jiren will be like, you know, Snake versus the boss. And, you know, eventually we're, you know, we've got like the sniper battle here. Like, I do like it. I like the little differences in each episode. Again, just as long as it really sticks the landing, I do think Eternal Power could be pretty good. So Tien kind of helps Gohan and Piccolo like gather themselves, and since the sniper is now focusing his fire on Goku and Vegeta, Tien Shinhan notices that he's moving around and shooting, like he's not just sticking in one place, and Tien Shinhan actually uses the multi-form technique and begins to approach the sniper. Now it's actually interesting because Kaio, like, bro, every episode, like, is just more evidence that the Kaioshin is just a fucking bum. Like, just a straight-ass bitch bum. Because he's instantly like, oh, you know, what a powerful technique he was hiding. And Krillin is like, well, it does have a weakness. You know, it splits up his power and speed into 4. And then Kaioshin is immediately like, oh my god, that sucks. He sucks. It's like, boy, you didn't know that, Kaioshin? Like, okay, you know, I'll give it to him. Goku, back in Dragon Ball, at least had to see Tien Shinhan do it once before he deduced its weakness. I got that. But guess what, fucker? Kaioshin, there's only 28 planets, bitch! I certainly hope you would be able to keep an eye on 28 planets. This man doesn't even know. Oh, I can't with this boy Kaioshin, man. I can't with this dude. I can't. So Tien Shinhan and his 3 clones begin sprinting at the sniper, and the sniper is kind of like, he will slowly take one of the clones out, but like Tien Shinhan is approaching, and it's kind of like, you know, who will get to who first? Like, will the sniper be able to take all 4 of the Tien Shinhans out, or will Tien Shinhan actually be able to, you know, get to the sniper, or at least get close enough to hit him with, you know, a decisive blow? Now, in the meantime, Goku and Vegeta, they just start picking up boulders and tossing it at the reflector. And it's funny because, like, you know, he's like sitting there like, haha, you know, you pussies can't handle me. And then it's like, oh, the sniper stopped shooting bullets off of him. So all of a sudden now he's like, you know, outed as a bitch. And Goku and Vegeta, it is funny. It's very comedic as they're just picking up giant boulders and tossing it at this guy. I did actually enjoy that scene quite a bit. Tien Shinhan is able to get close enough to the sniper that he's able to hit him with the Shin Kiko Ho, and after the blast kind of dissipates and, you know, we see the big explosion and all of that, I really love Tien Shinhan. That's why this next part did pain me, because he walks up and the sniper, both of his arms are severely injured, so it's like, okay, so he's not going to be able to lift up his arm and shoot Tien Shinhan, and he's standing over him, and he's kind of like, you know, you were a worthy opponent, you know, gonna have to take you out now, though. And Tien Shinhan powers up another Kiko Ho to kind of take the guy down, and the dude just looks up and goes, same, you know, like, same to you. And the way his hands were aimed at the ground, he just shoots off, you know, his sniper blast, kind of a big one, and it explodes the ground that they're standing on, and Tien Shinhan actually falls out of the ring. So this literally was the Vegeta and Frieza moment in the Resurrection F arc, when Vegeta walks up with his nuts hanging out, you know, puts the Big Bang attack in Frieza's face and says, don't fucking come back next time, and then Frieza's just like, fuck you, and blows up the earth. That's exactly what this moment was. The only difference here is that, you know, the sniper starts laughing, and he goes to, like, jump up and, like, stay on the ring, and Tien Shinhan's 3 multiform clones come in, kind of like latch onto the guy and, you know, dive off the edge with him. So Tien Shinhan and the sniper are both eliminated. Now, I was incredibly disappointed with this. So, you know, they made a big show about the Tournament of Power being like strategy. It's not all about brute power. And while this has stood true, like, Krillin and Tien Shinhan, like, okay, if I was to say before the Tournament of Power started, give me the first 3 you think are going to be knocked out, Krillin and Tien Shinhan would be in everyone's first 3. Like, I don't like how they made it that obvious. That's not, in my opinion, that's not really that, I didn't like it. Not to mention, I am a little fanboyish for Tien Shinhan because he is incredible in Dragon Ball. If you've never seen original OG Dragon Ball, he is a beast in that. I love how he acts. Some of the most emotional moments in all of Dragon Ball are the 2 times that Chaozu dies early on in the series, you know, versus Nappa and then versus King Piccolo. You go watch those 2 moments and tell me you don't get some sort of attachment to Tien Shinhan, you know, seeing the way he reacts to Chaozu being killed. Like, those are big moments, and I would just like to see some sort of, like, some showing from Tien Shinhan. Like, if they're gonna drag Roshi and Krillin and all these guys out here only to just shit on them very quickly, I'm not a fan of that. Because, like, Master Roshi did get propped up from this tournament. He had that episode where he bodied fools, especially a fighter, Ganos, who I thought was going to be a real problem in the tournament, and Roshi took him down. Like, I thought Ganos would end up fighting, like, Vegeta or Hit or Frieza or some shit like that. And it's like, no, Roshi dicked him down. Like, I really like that, but I don't know. I just, Tien Shinhan going down like this, not great. Now, one thing that is cool is, so, you know, Tien Shinhan, he gets, you know, zapped up to these stands, and he's sitting with Elder Kai, Beerus, Whis, and, you know, Kaioshin and Krillin, and, like, he apologizes, like, you know, I'm sorry, you know, I fucked up, my bad. And Krillin is like, oh, no, my boy, there's no need to apologize. And I actually did like it, because Beerus speaks up, and he says, like, you know, making it a draw at the end there was impressive, you know, you earned my respect. And it's like, whoa, okay. Like, I do like seeing, like, Beerus, like, you know, at the end of the last episode, Beerus was like, okay, you know, what is the old timer's name again? Like, tell me his name. Like, he actually cared, seeing how they're fighting. Like, I do kind of like seeing that from Beerus. That is a cool thing. So, the next part is hilarious, right? So, Goku and Vegeta have the Reflector cornered, and they're about to take him down when, you know, I'm actually laughing thinking about it. It was pretty funny. Dr. Rhoda comes up to him. He's like, oh, you thought you beat me, huh? Let me show you why I, Dr. Rhoda, am called a doctor. And then the dude is like, no, let me go. And then Dr. Rhoda's like, my true ability is... And then Vegeta's basically just like, shut the fuck up, and shoots them both off with the Gallic gun. I did actually really like that moment. That was pretty funny. And, you know, both Dr. Rhoda and the Reflector are defeated at that point. And that is how the episode ends, actually, with, you know, these 4 fighters being eliminated from the Tournament of Power. The announcer mentions that there are 32 minutes left. And also, it is interesting because the announcer does mention, like, you know, oh, you know, we'll see what kind of tricks and stuff the adversaries have for Universe 7. And it's like, oh, okay. I see you, announcer. I see you, and I'm excited. Overall, this was an okay episode. Again, this is an episode, like, a lot of the pre-Tournament of Power stuff applies to this as well, where I think the episodes will almost, like, they'll get better, like, if the Tournament of Power does stick the landing. So, you know, at this point, I'd say I liked it. We'll see in the future. You know, maybe the end of the Tournament of Power sucks, and I'll say, like, fuck this episode, fuck that episode, this episode especially. Like, we'll see. For now, it's okay. But now, like, I think from this point on, like, all the rest of the episodes are, like, really hyped. In particular, next week, I think, is going to be a big, you know, showing of Frost. Really looking forward to that.